A little bit of random news here to get things going. As Mads Kruger was released from his contract with MLW, there was discussion, I believe it was last year, about them coming to terms for a release. It is surprising to me because when Jacob Fatu turned on the Contra last year, it was thought of that Mads Kruger would become one of the top heels in MLW. But I guess that never came to fruition. Or maybe they went through with the plan and went in a different direction. But I know it is rare that I actually report MLW news, but I was interested in this bit of news about Mads Kruger's release because of the fact that I know at one point there was discussion that Mads Kruger would be or might be a top star within the ranks of MLW. But I also wanted to take this opportunity to discuss or to talk about the fact that big pay-per-views are not the only thing taking place in the early part of January, as MLW returns to the 2300 arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with Blood and Thunder on Saturday, January the 7th, with a banger of a card set to take place on that night. And a stacked card at that, with MLW featherweight champion Taya Valkyrie in a six-man tag team is set to appear. I thought it was a six-man because of how the setup was before I actually read it. But Taya Valkyrie, Delirious, Sam Adonis, Cesar Duran, and more are set to appear. But that is not all. Well, that's just the added expectation, as the Billington boys, Tom Billington's sons, or Tom Billington's relatives, aka they are some way related to the Dynamite Kid. I think they're his sons, but they might also be his nephews. I can't remember. Will be teaming up against the Teb Bamia Fight Club. The FBI has an open challenge match on the card, and it's always good to see ECW Originals back in their old stomping ground in South Philadelphia. Billy Starks. We talked about Billy Starks on a previous news video. Will be against Kayla Cassidy on the event. Lince Dorado, the former WWE superstar, will be against Dragon Gate's La Estrella. Dragon Gate will be in some way a part of this show, as Dragon Gate and MLW have interpromotional matches taking place on this show, with the first being Lince versus La Estrella, hardcore match Mance Warner against Ricky Shane Page. Davey Boy Smith Jr., aka the former Harry Smith, will collide against Alex Kane in what promises to be a very interesting match between two top stars on the indies. Real Enzo, who has made quite a career for himself in MLW, or found some stability in MLW after a lot of instability within the ranks of his wrestling career, will go against Microman. MLW Tag Team Champions Hustle and Power, EJ and Duka, and Calvin Tankman against the Samoan SWAT team. MLW National Openweight Champion Davey Richards will be against the guy who is never afraid to change his name, John Hennigan, aka Johnny Fusion, going by the name of MLW's TV tapings, as MLW traditionally does fusion tapings. Jacob Fatu will be against another Dragon Gate superstar in Ben K. Jacob Fatu, for those who may not be aware, is one of, if not the top star in MLW, and was the flag bearer for the company before Alex Hammerstone became one of the flag bearers of the company as the MLW Heavyweight Champion. Right now, though, MLW Heavyweight Champion Alex Hammerstone will defend the MLW Heavyweight Championship against one of the top stars in Dragon Gate, that being Yamamoto. I do remember Yamamoto from the times of Gabe Sapolsky working with and being a part of Dragon Gate with their partnership with Evolve. But it's good. Alex Hammerstone is one of the top stars on the indies and someone that has a very bright future ahead of him. He's one of the reasons why MLW has any sort of stability, because when you have talent like Jacob Fatu and Alex Hammerstone on the top of the card, you know what to expect, because Alex Hammerstone is, well, is worth your time to take a look at if you have never seen anything from the MLW Heavyweight Champion. Speaking of top stars on free agency, former NWA World's Champion Nick Aldis is officially a free agent. He was actually a free agent as of yesterday, because as of the new year, Nick Aldis is officially a free agent and no longer an employee of the NWA, ending a very, very successful run with Billy Corgan's promotion after, I guess you could say ending it on less than steady terms, but still, there's nothing to discount the idea, or nothing that can say, nobody can say that Nick Aldis' run within the ranks of the NWA was not successful, and that Nick Aldis is the reason, or that Nick Aldis isn't the reason why the NWA is in the position that it's in today. So God bless you, Nick Aldis, for what you did to the NWA, or what you did for the NWA, even with the fact that you did not end on positive terms. Two little notes before we go, and that is that Colby Carino is also a free agent within the ranks of the NWA, and no longer with the promotion as of today. So Nick Aldis was not the only person that did not have his contract renewed. But the a little bit of interesting side note about Colby Carino is, a couple of weeks ago, there was reports of WWE having interest in the second generation superstar once his contract expired. So it is possible that we could see Colby Carino joining NXT very soon. And the ironic thing is, his father already works for WWE, I believe as a trainer in Florida. One last note is that Mandy Rose was congratulated by Fantime, the website, about making $1 million last month. So the report from her agent a few days after her release was not inaccurate, saying that Mandy Rose made $500,000 since her WWE release and would become a millionaire by Christmas. It is apparent that Mandy Rose has become a millionaire, because you could question her agent, but you're not going to question the website, as Mandy Rose has made $1 million in the month of December, and you have to wonder if a lot of that money came from her post-WWE time. I also just want to note one thing that I forgot to note in the last video before we go, and that is Kenny Omega's NJPW return was orchestrated by the same person who orchestrated Chris Jericho's, that being Super Agent Barry Bloom. With that being said, these have been my thoughts on wrestling. I would love to hear from you what you think on anything and everything that I talked about in this video or the last one, because now it is time for me to say goodbye until next time. See you soon.